Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel in a rather nippy garage. Now elsewhere you may have seen the restoration of this BSA and also the cost of restoring this BSA, and now I need to register it. So today's fairly short video is going to have a look at how do you register an imported vehicle in the UK. So let's get on with it. Right, most of this you're just going to hear my disembodied voice, I'm afraid. Now, not everything in this video I'm going to show you is actually necessary. Some of it is personal preference, and I'll briefly outline why before we start. There are lots of complaints online about the DVLA, and I don't know, they may be justified, they may not. I've registered quite a few vehicles over the years. I did another classic bike only a couple of months ago. At the end of the day, the people working at DVLA are just like the rest of us. They want their life to be easy. So the easier you make it for them, the more likely you're going to end up with a good result. And that's why I'm going to suggest certain things to do. Please feel free to ignore them because they're not legally required. You may think I'm a complete idiot. Lots of people do. Join the club. Anyway, let's get on with it. The first thing you definitely need is your form V55/5. Now, I'll just briefly run through this. This is the BSA. The BSA Owners Club supply you with a very useful piece of paper telling you what to put in where. But if you go onto the DVLA's own website, they have exactly the same instructions, although obviously they're designed to all different types of vehicles, not just motorcycles. But this format we're about to run through will apply to all motorbikes, historic motorbikes. So, the first thing is to put in the country, top right, where you bought the bike. This one, although it's an import, was bought in the UK, therefore it's UK. Question 2, taxation class. Is historic. This one was built in 1971. Now, before we go any further, there is a difference between the rules for historic vehicles as far as MOTs go and historic vehicles as far as taxation goes. So, in order to get historic taxation now, 2020, we're talking November 2020, the vehicle has to have been built before, I think it's the 7th of January. Yeah, early January anyway. So, for example, if this motorcycle was built in September 2020, although it's 40 years old and would not have to have an MOT, it would still need to be taxed because the rules are different. I won't go into any further detail. It's all online. Basically, the tax runs a year, to all intents and purposes, behind the MOT. Therefore, you've really got to be knocking on 41 years to get free tax, as opposed to 40 years to get the MOT exemption. Anyway, on we go. Question 5, the manufacturer, in this case BSA. Question 6, the make, also BSA in this case, but for example, for a scooter I did, the manufacturer was Piaggio, the make was a Vespa. Things like that could be BSA Ariel. Similar situations occur, but anyway, BSA in this case. The model, Firebird Scrambler in this case. Question 8, type of body or vehicle is a motorcycle. The wheel plan is 2-wheel, and in the predominant colour. In this case it's orange. There's no point putting fancy colours down because the DVLA has a very restricted range of colours. So you could put down something really quite odd, candy metallic purple for instance, and it'd just come back as purple. So there's no point worrying too much, it just has to be the predominant colour. Now for a classic vehicle, the rest of it right up to question 31, which is up here on the right, is irrelevant, so they all stay black. Oh no, I'm lying. Question 27, year of manufacture, if you know it. I do, because I've got a dating certificate. So it's 1971. Type of fuel, petrol. And in 32 and 33 is the VIN and engine numbers, which I don't want to show online. Just fill in them as it's shown on the actual vehicle itself. Don't forget logbooks and all the rest of it. Stick with the vehicle itself, and most importantly, stick with what's shown on the on the Nova document, because they have to match or they won't register your vehicle. Right, 1 second while I turn this over. Just cover that up again. The next section here is basically your name and address, sign it and date it. That's it. Your Nova notification. That shows that HM Revenue and Customs have no interest in the vehicle. They've identified any taxes that are due, they've collected any taxes that are due, and they will print out a certificate with a number which is under this, which will then be used by the DVLA to know that you're legally entitled to register that vehicle without paying any further tax. Just remove those for a second. Right, next up, you need the foreign logbook, V5, American title, whatever the country calls it that you got the vehicle from. American titles, by the way, don't show anything other than a year of manufacture. They don't show date of registration as in months and days. I didn't have one, therefore I had to get a certificate, what they call a dating certificate. In this case, the BSA Owners Club called it a vehicle report. I had to supply evidence of frame number, engine number, photographs of the forks, the brakes, both sides of the vehicle, etc., etc. And then once they were satisfied that everything was okay, I got this to then use in support of my application to register the vehicle. So basically a dating certificate. Depending on which vehicle you've got, I've done Vespas before, for instance, and they're much more basic. The requirements are much more basic than the BSA Owners Club, which are very, very thorough, very good. I was very impressed. So there you go. So you need that as well. It's only valid for 1 year, by the way, now. They used to be valid for all time, but now they're only valid for 12 months from date of issue. Then you need a cheque, which I'll just wave in front of you. Now the cheque is for £55 for the first registration, plus any tax, road tax that may be due. Not relevant in this case because it's historic. And just as a point of interest, when you write a cheque out, because I'm an old git, in the box where the numbers go, on the last application I did, I wrote 55.00p for pence, which I've done all my life. And they sent it back to me, saying that it's all machine read now, and the machine doesn't recognise the P at the end, it thinks it's another number. So I had to send them another cheque. Anyway, evidence of who you are. Now, in this case, I used, well, they asked for, in fact, a copy of your photocard driving licence, which I have. If you don't have a photocard driving licence, and to be honest, I think most people do now, but anyway, if you don't, you need to send 2 further documents, one proving your name, which I think is things like passport, stuff like that, and then a second one showing where you live, which would be a council tax bill, gas bill, electric bill, something like that. The actual acceptable document list is on the DVLA website if you have to go down that route, but if you've got a driving licence, a photocard driving licence, that is obviously the way to do it. Now, in addition, it's not strictly required, I include photographs. Now, the reason I do that is to show the vehicle is complete, it exists, in this case that it's standard, unmolested. So I've included a photograph of the left-hand side, photograph of the right-hand side, photograph of the frame number in position, and photograph of the engine number in position, all of which help. I also include, and again I don't think it's necessary, but I include it anyway, which is my VAT invoice for the purchase of the vehicle, which also ties in with the people who were given a NOVA number. Therefore, it all matches as far as they're concerned. So I do that. And then finally, and again, it's not required, but as I say, we're dealing with other human beings, so I think it's a good idea, and that's to include a covering letter. This isn't the actual one because I've got to put my address on it and things, obviously. So I just start it saying, "Dear Sir and Madam, please find the enclosed application to register an imported vehicle in the historic vehicle category." So you're making it clear that you want it historic. In support of this are Form V55-5. I will change that to say completed Form V55-5, which I should have done. Second, the NOVA number as supplied by HM Customers Excise. 3, the vehicle report from the BSA Owners Club showing the year of manufacture as 1971. The sales invoice from the dealer in the UK from whom I purchased the motorcycle. A copy of my photocard driving licence for identity purposes. 4 photographs, A showing the frame number, brackets VIN, B showing the matching engine number, C showing the left-hand side of the vehicle, D showing the right-hand side of the vehicle, and then underneath I put the vehicle is original and unaltered, just so that I'm absolutely sure that it's not been messed about with in any shape or form, because alterations can affect the registration of historic vehicles. And then finally, a cheque for the registration fee. And then I also add, if you require any further documentation or details, please contact me on, and then I add my phone numbers and my email address. And then finally, a straightforward thank you, because it does no harm to show appreciation for the fact that, you know, these people are doing this for you. And therefore, politeness, I think, goes a very long way, particularly when you're dealing with people who may be overworked, quite stressed, particularly at this time of the pandemic. So, a small gesture of appreciation. So that's it. So, I will now put my address on this, sign it, double check all my documents, and finally I'll put them all together in a plastic sleeve just to keep everything in one place, again for ease of handling. Now, if you have to send an original V5, for example the last one I did, I sent the American title, you can't afford it going missing in the post because they won't accept copies. Therefore, I tend to send all these special delivery. It's not that expensive. And you're guaranteed it's done by hand from postman, postperson to postperson, straight to the DVLA's door. If you're sending documents which could be easily replaced, like dating certificates, etc., then I suppose it's safe just to send it by ordinary means or recorded. That choice is entirely down to you. So there we go. So I'm about to go and finish all these bits and pieces, and then it will be going in the post today, and in a few weeks' time when I get it back, I think it's taking about 4 to 6 weeks at the minute, I will let you know what happened, but hopefully I will have a nice age-related number plate stuck on the back of the BSA. So thanks for watching, please subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.